Great day, amazing humans. Yes, welcome to Empowering Bites. This is where we keep it short and sweet. But who is the we? Well, the we is me, Nkechi, and
I'm Gabby with 1B. Pleased to be the co-host of these Empowering Bites where we keep it short and sweet.
E to the A to the B to the Y. Mamone! That is Gabby 1B Mamone. Let's go, girl. Let the show begin. Great day, amazing humans, and welcome forward to another episode of Empowering Bites, where I am joined by the magnificent co-host that I have had the pleasure of working with for 8 seasons, y'all.
8 seasons.
Yo! She was named by the best mom on the planet, Gabriella Mamone.
Thank you. 8 seasons.
8 seasons, girl.
Do you remember, before we get into it, do you remember when you first came to me and said, I've got an idea.
Yes.
I want to have the Empowered in My Skin podcast.
Yes.
And do you remember what I said to you?
You said that you want to interview me.
Yeah.
And you said we would do these episodes where you would pick my brain. And I was like, we should do it together where we pick both each other's brains.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it ever since.
Wow.
They started as Thriving Thursdays.
Yes, it did.
And then they blossomed into Empowering Bites.
Thank you for this beautiful journey.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it as well.
So speaking about journeys, we're going to talk about the cost of being strong all the time.
Yep.
And so to frame this up and provide listeners with context, like, for example, I work in a male-dominated industry for pretty much my entire life. And a lot of all the things I've ever done, like, you know, if I think about playing soccer, if I think about being a bodybuilder, if I think about, like, they bring out a lot of strength elements of me, right? Like,
Sure.
you know, then if I add on the intersection of, you know, being Black and female and in these environments, there's a cost to that. And as a result of it, very honestly, I've shared this in therapy. There's an alpha female, right? That comes out. And I will be honest with you, my biggest challenge is not knowing how to ever tame that alpha female, because she follows me everywhere. So and then unfortunately in spaces like maybe my home, it then has this, you know, sort of this dual energy because, you know, obviously my husband, right, So that's what we're talking about. Like, you know, just this thought of, and then there's another angle to that too, which, you know, just put it out there for us to speak on, is resilience.
Yes,
this
of course.
thought about being always having to be resilient. So like, drop the alpha female, but it's always like life is hard, and you know, I'm always having to be the strong one. Maybe you have to be the strong one in your family. Maybe you're having a season of going through so much, and it's requiring you to always come forth with your strong self. And there's a mask to that, I think, you know, male, female, whomever, right?
Right.
So,
And a risk for burnout. Yeah. In fact, that's what I've been experiencing recently, where my mom had hip surgery. She had an injury. So I've been taking care of her. I'm a mom of 2, taking care of my family. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I've got a disability, watching my health. I've got a business. I have clients. And it was like, I can do it, to the point where I couldn't. And I faced exhaustion and I faced burnout. And it's like, how do I go forward in this? But I had to be strong, you know, because Gabby's the matriarch. And so I get it. This is such a powerful topic that I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with, women and men as well.
Yeah. I think in the current season that I'm just still navigating was learning how to ask for help.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, especially if you don't, you know, do the work to recognize like, I'm always showing up in all spaces strong, but at the same time you're suffering in silence, because you're like, why doesn't anyone reach out to lend a hand? Why doesn't anyone ask me if I'm okay? You know, the truth is, it could be because you're always projecting this level of, I've got it under control. You know, and just really one quick story to illustrate that. I don't travel light. So I have my lunch bag because I bring all my meals with me. Plus then I prefer not to have something on my shoulder. So I use a rolly bag. So this one particular day, my colleagues had come into Toronto and we were going to this executive event. And and I had my lunch bag, I had my roller laptop bag, and it was raining, so there was also an
Mm.
umbrella in the mix, and I, again, work with all men, and so all of these men were like, "Can we help you carry your
Yeah.
bag?" So I was like, "No, no, no, I've got it," and then they kept wanting to every time we crossed the street, "Hey, Ink, let me help you with your bag." "No, no, no, I got it, I got it." And we'd be coming back from the event, and so this one particular time we had to jump into an Uber, and they're like, "Ink, let me help." I was like, "No, no, I got
Yeah.
it." So I dropped my bags in the trunk, and we were heading off to a restaurant. And I'll never forget, like, as soon as we got to the restaurant, like the two gentlemen like jumped out of the car, opened up the trunk, and grabbed my bags and took them across the street. And in that moment, I was like, you know what, Ink? They're just wanting to
They
help,
do. Yeah, they
right?
wanted to help.
Like, and so now I'm learning, no matter how light my bag is. And if somebody
Yes.
asks me, especially with gentlemen, to carry my bag, I'm like, sure,
Yeah.
here you go.
Because they genuinely
They
want
generally
to.
want to help,
Yeah, it's almost offensive if you say no, because they'll be like,
Right.
if you don't
Well,
let
this is
them.
what
Yeah.
cutting you there, because I
Mm.
what that excites me is I recognize, like, it happens with my husband, right?
Okay.
Like so many times we'd be going out the door together, and he's like, "Let me grab your bag," like especially if we're going to the gym, and I'd be like, "No, no, no, I got it." And I can feel like his irritants, because he
Okay.
wants to help.
He
He
wants
wants
to.
to, do what he is
Yeah.
maybe supposed to
Yeah.
do. Yeah, help
Yeah.
his wife with her bag. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I'm sure there's people listening that wished their husband would say, "Can
Yeah.
I can I help you with the bag?" Like I'm loading the car this morning and I'm like, "Where's my husband? I would love." But I also didn't ask, right? And so
Right,
I'm at
right,
fault for not
right,
asking for
right,
help, right?
right,
And it
right,
goes to that point of being strong.
right, right.
And so I have a question for you, and that is about emotional suppression.
Mm,
So, emotional suppression equals stress,
mm,
and it increases cortisol, impacts mental health and physical health.
mm.
What are your thoughts on that? Suppressing.
Well, I think at some point you're going to burst.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a strong advocate for therapy. And if it's
Yeah.
not therapy, prayer, like there's got to be an outlet that you
Yep.
have that enables you to, be really real with what you're going through.
Yeah.
And what I love is that over time, if you are so good at this, then you might even understand this statement where it's like you become the observer,
Hmm.
right? Like you've released so much that there's nothing that's really blocking you from being able to observe how you are navigating the spaces that you're in, and allowing the stress to, like, allowing those moments where you could actually pick up stress and strain and
Right.
strife,
Yeah.
and actually release it in its presence,
Right.
right? And so I think it's really, really important. Otherwise, you're just this walking bottle, just waiting, like, that's topped up and waiting to explode.
Yeah, makes sense. And are you familiar with Brene Brown's studies? Her
Well, some, but you
research
might you might more
on
so. Yeah. Hmm.
vulnerability. Well, ultimately, if you haven't seen Brene Brown's
Hmm.
TED
She's the
Talk, for
queen of
example, she's
vulnerability.
the
Yeah.
queen of
Hmm.
vulnerability. And, we've learned that it increases trust and relationship effectiveness.
Hmm.
So it is important, if you're going through something and you feel stress, you feel that you need to be more effective, sometimes just being vulnerable is the answer,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? You don't have to always be strong, because there is a cost to that.
Hmm.
Being strong is showing your
Yeah.
vulnerability,
Yeah.
right? That's a definition almost.
Right. And if you look at even there's that too, and then there's also the connection loss,
Okay.
um, where people can't see what you don't share,
Right.
right?
Right.
But they know that something is missing, or they know that there's something between you and me. You
Yeah.
understand? And I think that's what I love about us, right? Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We can have, within a 30-minute moment,
Yes.
like the highs, the lows,
Yes. We've had it.
yeah, and it feels always refreshing coming out of there, because
Yeah.
there was no connection loss, right? Like, I allowed you to see me, and
Yes.
you shared this same back. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Absolutely. So,
Hmm.
can you think of another time where you had to be strong?
On the flip side, I'm gonna also say, like, strength is also can also be a strength. Strong can also be a strength, in the
Yes.
sense that if it is used, I'm gonna say, to help you, um like do a hard thing.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Like, so for example, I think about the strength that I'm having to leverage and pull from
Yeah.
in order to be able to progress my healing journey.
Yeah.
Right? Like a lot of times, like I feel it when I'm in my physio sessions where it's like, okay, ink, like dig in right here, right? Like don't allow a little bit more movement through to
Yeah.
continue to progress you forward. So you will know when it's for you
Yeah.
and when it's not for you.
Right.
Yeah.
I can think of a time. Do we still have a bit of time?
Yes,
Yeah.
just
I can think of a time where my son was 3. Saturday morning, I'm laying in bed and he runs in with this huge amount of energy saying, Mommy, Mommy, let's play, let's play. And I felt awful. And for those that don't know, I have multiple sclerosis. And so I woke up with pain and spasticity, and I just didn't want that. And so I didn't want to play with my son. That was the truth, because I just didn't feel like it. But I had to be strong.
Yes.
I had to be strong. And I think it's one of those cases that I did play with him, but in my way. So I said, okay, no problem. Why don't you squeeze my feet? And I did that so that I could start having feelings in my feet. And so it's like, I'm going to give you points for each time you squeeze. And so I turned the strength into something that worked for me. And you know how to handle it when you're in these adversities.
And I think I liked what you said. I turned that strength into something that works for me. And I think even, and just to wrap up, like if I take that and think about like what I've had to do in like my work, for example, right? Because I've never really walked into a room feeling that I was a woman in a sea of men.
Okay.
And so I believe that as a result of that, I've kind of taken my strength to use it to my advantage so that when I am in those rooms, there's nothing about me that feels diminished or feels inadequate or feels like I can't hold my own in that space, you know? So it's about finding actually that healthy balance, because
I love that.
because like I said at the beginning, those spaces have maybe potentially have to figure out when am I alpha female versus when am I strong in that, you know, and I think they're two different things for me.
I love this. Thank you for this enlightening conversation.
I know. I love that we picked it. And so, wow, it's time. It's time to say bye.
It's time.
In a strengthful way.
Yes.
And so this is where I say, I'm Ink.
And I'm Gabby with 1B.
And we're out. Bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode.